Hello everyone, and welcome to another New World and Lord of the Rings video. My name is Brian. If you happen to be new to the channel and returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some thoughts that I had towards the end of the video, if you guys want to stick around for that question, because essentially I really am interested in your feedback and your thoughts on the subject. But I want to talk to you guys today about what the New World devs are saying, especially as it relates to the future of New World and the future of their next MMORPG in the same team, in the same engine. The thing I've been stating this whole time is that New World is going to directly benefit from the Lord of the Rings investment and vice versa, but that obviously leads to the joke or the meme that New World is a beta for Lord of the Rings. Now, I think both are going to exist, and we'll talk a little bit more maybe about my thoughts after we get into the official statements. I'm not here to waste your time, but if you guys have the opportunity, hit that like button. It's a great way to help out the content on the channel. Subscribe for more content, and also check the top link for my Instagram. I'm trying to grow over there as well. As a stand-up comedian, that's a really great resource, and if you guys want to help support me, that's a great free way to do it if you use Instagram. So thank you guys so much for the support. Let's dive in. I apologize for the plug. New World Dalcaron says, there are macro and micro leadership decisions, but our studio is fairly independent in what and how our resources are used. But right now, there is no Lord of the Rings without New World, and New World is very much still and near everyone's core focus across the studio. And this is a very true statement. This is essentially what I've been saying this whole time. Also, huge shout out to Jay. I'm going to tag him in the description because his video came into my feed. I wasn't even aware of these things, and this makes me really excited. So if you guys aren't checking out Jay, be sure to do so. He's a full-time content creator now, so if you can go support him over on Twitch as well, that goes a long way. Anyway, this is what we're saying. There is no Lord of the Rings without New World. New World is a perfect opportunity to teach, educate the team, and refine itself. And the fact is that when it comes to capitalized investment within the Lord of the Rings, the features and things that they know that they need, they can build, they can prove, they can get working in New World, and we are going to benefit as New World players, and we're going to benefit as Lord of the Rings, whenever that ends up being titled or subtitled, when that game is set to release. Again, I'm budgeting mentally 7 years before we see or get to go hands-on with Lord of the Rings, not counting an alpha or a beta, but where the game officially is out in the wild, and we'll talk about more of that here in a little bit. Now, they go on to say, hard to say, in response to another comment, Amazon Games OC is responsible for the internal MMO development of New World and Lord of the Rings. The other studios have some other games and shared responsibilities. Now, this person's in Seattle, some marketing folks are in San Diego. The New World team has likely 300 contributors in the fashion or other, but the number is significantly higher once you start factoring all the support for services, outsourcing, corporate HR, and finance. Our numbers aren't too secret as we update credits every year, so they are somewhat up to date now as of Rise of the Angry Earth. Then going on to say the latest Amazon Games layoffs only impacted Amazon's games growth. This is a unique marketing team, and Crown Channel, a unique Twitch broadcast team. No game devs layoffs before that or any really seen San Diego studio wind down their active project, and more Twitch folks. All teams have been very well supported, and many outside of New World growing with all of their publishing partnerships. So this is where I think it's really important. There's there's always going to be this narrative that we have to educate people on when it comes to the state of the game and what Amazon's doing. Amazon has insane amounts of resources, and they also are all in on games. That's why I've been so confident in New World and have enjoyed New World so much, because the potential is just continuing to pour out. Now, obviously, we've all been impacted by delays and more, but in my mind, as a parent, because I think that's essentially maybe where sometimes me and some people on the internet disagree, I ended up just, I guess, working on my patience factor so much that I'm like, all right, it's going to take a little bit more time. And I know that not everybody has that ability nor needs to, because there's so many things that you could be spending your time and energy on, and I'm not here to judge you and how you do that. But when it comes down to the Lord of the Rings, this is what is the narrative. Both of these games are going to work great. And the reason is because the capitalized investment, it just makes so much sense. And I think what we're going to end up getting is a better New World and a better Lord of the Rings. But let's talk about timing and how these all kind of will blend or stack together. First and foremost, I don't think that we're going to see Lord of the Rings anytime soon. I think they're going to make sure that that has its time to truly bake and be designed and really thought out for the ground up, where New World wasn't started out as an MMO. And honestly, I think they found the magic. I think they actually fell into, in an accidental and kind of a purposeful accidental, kind of beautiful accident way. They really delivered on the game. But Lord of the Rings gets to have this mindset, lessons learned, server architecture, and so much more. And they get the ability to let the devs double dip. The work that they're spending is a double dip. Every improvement they make to the engine, both games get to benefit. And this is a really strong scenario. Now, what happens when Lord of the Rings is online? It comes out. Well, that's going to actually put New World around that 10-year mark. The devs have committed to 10 years of development for New World, and they're going to keep marching on that trajectory. But after that point, yeah, New World could technically enter into maintenance mode, or they could try to run both side by side. And if they do both of those, you can end up seeing both games having their own respective audiences and, I guess, selling appeal, so to speak. But what it does is it confirms, more than anything else, the trust that the devs will do what they say and they set out to do. And I think that's the more important than anything else, truly. I think trust when it comes to an MMO is one of the most important factors. Obviously, I think, to push back on my own idea, the money, making sure that you're financially able to afford to continue development, plays a huge role in MMORPG development, but trust is something that is very important for us as the gaming audience. Now, thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. Please be sure to check the links in the description, as it's going to help me out dramatically. Be sure to subscribe and hit that like button, or maybe even ring that bell so you don't miss New World videos. But now I want to kind of pivot to those of you who've been here for a while. So if you are brand new and this is the first video you've ever watched of mine, thank you so much for being here. This next is a little bit more meta or behind the scenes baseball. So obviously we talked about Lord of the Rings. I've been toying with the idea of making New World Central kind of a New World and Lord of the Rings kind of coverage. Now, we don't have a lot of news coverage coming out for Lord of the Rings, but being that they're the same team, same studio, same engine, there's some synergy I think that's going to exist between both games. Now, typically what I do is I spin off a game to its own channel, and that ends up being both algorithmically very smart, but also allows me not to have to sensationalize content so that you guys watch it. So ultimately the question is that as we learn more about Lord of the Rings from Amazon Game Studios built on the New World Azoth engine, is that something you'd like to see here on this channel as well? Or would you rather it be like I typically run with all of my individual channels? Now, until we actually have a steady flow of information, there's no way that I'm going to spin up its own channel. So for the time being, if you guys absolutely hate the idea, then I'll figure out, maybe I'll move it over to Ginger Prime for the time being. Ultimately, I think that there is that synergy between developers and the players. Same thing kind of applies here with this game. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for taking time with me today, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, take care.